Welcome to A Night with a Medium, starring Tessa Del Zappo. Broadcasting live from the Yowawa Media Studios high above the beautiful city of Niagara Falls, New York. Thank you for joining us, and we welcome each of you for a spirit-filled evening.
All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight? Really excited to be back. I know we had Thanksgiving last week, so I'm glad that everybody, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I had a good Thanksgiving. I ate way too much, as usual, typical Italian. I'm really excited about tonight, so I figured after Thanksgiving we would start off with something really cool. You know me, I always have a special guest first before I connect with you guys live. And my guest this week is a guy named Chris Jason, who many of you might know from a really awesome Vegas casino show called The Rat Pack is Back, and he portrays Mr. Frank Sinatra himself. I did an interview with him all about his career and how he became, who he is on stage in Vegas. How did he get there? Because you know me, I like to connect entertainment with, what I do as a medium and kind of combining the two and figuring out the parallels between mediumship as well as entertainment. So I'm excited about this. We talk about so many different things too. It was a great interview because he's had many experiences with, kind of the spirit world and what I do as a medium, connecting that to our Italian heritage and things like that. So I'm really excited to share this with you. And after the interview, I will join you guys live to do some questions and some live readings. So I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on again. It's so nice to finally talk with you this way, and I can't wait to learn some more about you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you're known right now as Mr. Frank Sinatra in Vegas over there at the Tuscany Hotel. Is that correct, at the casino?
Yeah, the chairman of the board. Yeah, that's my spot.
That's your spot. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you own that spot. I mean, I've seen videos of you. You're amazing.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, growing up Italian, obviously, Mr. Sinatra is a big part of everybody's life, really. And so, and it was funny because I saw videos of you and I'm like showing my mom because she loves My Way and, classics and stuff like that. And she's like, who's this guy? We got to go see him. So you're great at what you do. Now you're in Vegas right now, but you're originally from the East Coast, right?
Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island, which is a little tiny area called Federal Hill, which is they call Little Italy.
Yeah.
So, I'm from there originally.
Yeah.
It's for 6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've been
Yeah.
a Rat Pack for 5 years.
Yeah. So now you perform with the Rat Pack, which is awesome. I might try to get Mr. Dean Martin on here too. Your buddy over there, he's great too. I love what you guys are doing. I mean, I love that finally, now you guys are back on stage, right? Which is amazing because over here in New York, there's really no stage shows or anything happening, sadly. Yeah. But you guys are back on stage.
Yeah, we were out since March 7th. And then finally, we were going to go back up in September, August and stuff like that. And everything got shot down. So we finally got back to work 2 weeks ago. So
that's great.
Not at the 6 nights a week that we were doing Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
And now we're doing Thursday through Saturday, which is still good. Not full, but at least we're there.
Right. Kind of take what you can get right now.
Absolutely.
I think that's all entertainment. We just want to get back out there in some capacity. So that's great. My grandmother on my mom's side, when when she was alive, she's passed, she was in Vegas all the time. So as a kid, I was way too young to go into casinos at the time, but, that was a while ago. We used to go and she'd always want to watch those shows. She'd always look for, some sort of old classics and things like that. And so I love Vegas. I'm looking eventually when my, show goes back up, my casino show, maybe move it that way. That would be amazing. So,
about that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. I want to ask you, so what made you, I know in your bio you had said that you were a musician, yeah? So how did you transition from that to what you're doing now? How did you know, that you wanted to do Frank Sinatra, or that you could?
So like I usually tell the story of it, usually around 6, 7 years old.
Hmm.
And I was given for Christmas, I was given a microphone and a pair of drumsticks. So
That's awesome.
I gravitated towards the drums first. Okay. And at this time, my uncle was one of the very first tribute artists around. He was a tribute to Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh, wow.
And he's known Engelbert for like 30 something years now.
Okay.
I watched my uncle do the cruise ships and do everything from little things in Vegas when they had the lounges, and go to see his concerts and stuff. And I followed in those footsteps. I'd watch him and I'd be like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the drums. I already know how to play drums. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it looked flashy to me. He had the diamonds on, and he had, he always smelled good, and he had the hankies he'd give to the girls and stuff. So I literally grew up with Engelbert first before Frank. But Frank was always in my house with my mom, my papa, all that stuff. And I always sang. I never had a vocal lesson. I never needed anybody to tell me you're doing this wrong. It was a natural fit.
Yeah.
And the Sinatra thing, that, like I said, it was in my household, but it gradually grew, and somebody heard me someplace, sometime, somewhere, heard me sing something. And they were just like, there's no way that came out of you, kid,
Yeah.
And I had my hair was down to my butt. I was in a rock band and I'm singing Frank Sinatra, and all my guys like jumping on, busting my chops saying, bring me to a bar, put my name up at a karaoke thing. And, next thing I know, it's like the scene where people walk into a cowboy joint and the record skips because you don't belong there. Yeah. That's what it was like for me. Somebody saw me at the right time, make a long story short, and said, you really need to do this like now, because people are talking about you, kid, and so I kind of slowly transitioned, cut my hair, took all the piercings out, and got my tattoos removed, which was a pain in the ass.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I see you like this, and I've looked at you this way, and I'm like, I can't picture the long hair and the tattoos and stuff.
I was very Tommy Lee out. I had the hats. I had 2 big stars on my neck, but came from hair to hair.
Get out of here.
And had a big star on it, like Tommy Lee's. And I actually had, I don't know if you'd be able to see it. I'll put a picture up for you can see it.
Yeah. Crazy.
So this was me in my Tommy Lee days.
Oh, wow. Look at you. That's awesome, though.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
They call me the chameleon because I'm still playing drums.
Yeah.
Still down here, like studio session stuff. And, but the Frank stuff, it just was a natural fit.
Yeah.
Between, me being an East Coast boy, and growing up with the music, and, I just, it was a perfect fit, and it still is. I don't look like him. I wouldn't want to look like him, but it's more of the mannerisms. It's more of being on stage and acting the way he did, and talking like he did, and singing like he did is what gets me by. I could care less about being a lookalike. I wouldn't want to be. I'd rather be me doing him, and people go, oh my God, they just brought me back to 1966.
Honestly, and I've told you this before, it's better than a lookalike. What you do is way better than a lookalike. You sound, you're you, right? But like you sound so much like him, and that type of voice and the whole vibe, you don't see that very often anymore. So what you have and what you bring to the table is so unique, and people want that.
Right. And my vibe is more of like a Mad Men type of look on stage, very cut, I'm still potted to the side, my hair slicked back, and the nice suits and the tuxedos. But that's what he was. You don't go to a show just because somebody looks like Frank Sinatra. You go to the show because you want to be wowed. First thing I would think of if I saw anybody, whether it be Elvis or Frank or Dean or Sammy, I want somebody to sound like somebody and be blown away. I could care less if you walk on stage and I'm like, wow, he looks like him. Okay, but do you sound like him?
Right.
That's what's good about that.
Yeah, absolutely. What we'll have to do, Peter's here in the studio with me. He's kind of my producer here. And I'd love to take a clip of you and play it for everybody at some point. We'll insert that afterwards. But He's amazing, Peter, by the way. I got to show you some clips. That's amazing. So how did you get to Vegas? Was your uncle in Vegas then? And did you?
He's been retired for a long time. So basically what happened was in 2014, I'm still in Rhode Island at this time.
Yeah.
I was doing all the St. Mary's feasts and the San Gennaro feasts, which obviously have that down in New York too. And the president of the San Gennaro feast was also part of the Italian American Club, which I frequented a lot as well. I wasn't a member, but I was always there doing shows. And they were always pushing, like, we got to get this kid over there in Vegas. He can't blow. You get out of Rhode Island. You got to go over here. So I had a lot of pushing from those guys, a bunch of those guys. And being that I was friends with the president of the San Gennaro feast, Anthony Parmesan, he asked me to do a San Gennaro in Rhode Island. I did that. I got notoriety. And then he said, "You never been to Vegas?" I said, "No." He goes, "Why don't you do San Gennaro?" And this was coming up to 2015. He goes, "Come down in like May. We'll do the first one in May, second one in September." Excuse me. And we'll do that. I'm like, great. Well, that fell through the cracks. I never got to go. Something happened. 2016 came. He asked me the same thing. So I went down and I was greeted by he passed away a couple of years ago, rest his soul, Tony Sacca, who was the entertainment ambassador of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Saw me perform. And I was literally singing in front of nobody. I was like, it was me singing to the sausage and pepper stand. That's all it was. But little did I know while I was doing that, I had people listening to me. There's always ears.
There's always, yeah.
Never know who's watching you. So, and that's what that was. That was being watched. And they called up the producer of the Rat Pack is Back. His name is Dick Feeney. He also runs the MJ Live show, Michael Jackson show.
Yeah.
And he heard me from the parking lot. And he said, "Well, you got to be, is this, you're jiving me over here. He's got to be lip singing, he's doing the Frank Sinatra lip." I said, "No, this is me singing." And he's like, give me his email address. And like I say, about 2 or 3 months later, I get an email from him and his production crew saying that they want me to come down to see the show. I didn't know I was going down to audition. I thought I was going to see a show. I was like flying me down. They rented me a car. He said, "This is great." So I watched the show for the first time. And after the show was done, he said, everybody left. He said, "The band stays tonight." He goes, "I want you to sing a few songs with the band." Just with him in the audience. And the production manager, Doug. It was just him and Doug, the producer and the production manager. And I was like, I didn't expect any of this. So I go up and I sang "Luck Be a Lady," "Where or When," "Under My Skin." And there was just a bunch of this, going back and forth,
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it. I flew home. I got a call the next month saying they want to fly me to Santiago, Chile to be their road Sinatra. Wow. So I was their road Sinatra till the end of 2016, just going on the road, doing things, whatever they needed me for. And the end of 2016, I think it was December 23rd, they gave me my contract. They said, "We want you to come to Vegas and we want you to be the resident Frank Sinatra now. Screw the road stuff. We want you to be here 6 nights a week." I'm like, I'm done. So I packed up a little suitcase this big and I left everything to my mom. My apartment, my furniture, everything was brand new. I just bought brand new furniture. I gave it to my mom. I flew down the next day and I haven't left.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's amazing. It was just meant to be. And, you either have it or you don't, especially in the entertainment industry. You can't fake it. You just can't. You have to be able, and it's one thing to have, the voice and the presence, but like your stage presence and the showmanship that you have, I mean, no wonder you're there. So it's awesome. You either have it or you don't, so it's amazing to hear those stories because it's truly how it happens. People try for years and they're all over the place and they're pitching and they're doing this, that, and the other. And truly it can happen just like that. Somebody sees you, they hear you, and they're like, "I want that."
Love of music and entertainment is because you never know who's watching you.
Yeah.
Always I don't care if there's nobody in the audience, you always keep yourself on your toes, always give you 100%. Never be discouraged because, "Oh, geez, there's no one in the audience tonight." Doesn't matter. If you see walking by, that has the rest of your future for you. And you have no idea who that person is. and then the next minute you're somewhere else, and you're like, you made it.
Yeah.
It happens quick.
It's very true. That's how I got my casino show. It was literally somebody knew about me, because obviously we've talked, and I'm a medium, and they knew, what I did, and asked me to do a show someplace else, do readings. And after that, it just kind of fell into my own show. And it's true. It's very true. People are watching, and they always have been. Ever since I was little. My mother wouldn't let me go to Vegas. I'm going to put her on the spot now because I know she'll be watching this, but she wouldn't let me go to Vegas when I was younger. I wanted to do Cirque du Soleil. I used a competitive dancer, and they always had scouts, and they had, talent agents at these competitions, and they'd watch. And, she's like, you're not going to New York. You're not going to Vegas. You're going to school. And so then when I finally had the opportunity, I'm like, guess what, Ma? I'm doing it now.
I told my mother the same thing. I said, look, Ma, I'm, I can't do the thing. I mean, school's great and stuff, but I can't. How come you weren't in school today? Because I had my microphone. I learned more from playing music than I did. And so I'm putting down school, but back then I learned more, about myself and about everything else from music. Yeah. No one else could have taught me that except music.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very true. Our experiences teach us far more. And again, I was a teacher. Like I went to school to be a teacher. I'm not knocking it, but the thing is they teach you a certain amount of things in school, skills, whatever it might be, but experience and the drive and the passion that you have for something is going to teach you far more than they can in a classroom. Absolutely. So it's very true. And it's amazing to hear how you followed that and where you are now. And like I was saying, so my theory too, along with this, I'm going to start to tie it in here, is entertainment. When you're drawn to entertain, and in whatever art form that might be, whether it be acting or dancing or singing or music, I personally believe that people who are drawn to do so have a level of intuition. And I believe that we channel it through art in a way, and I know that what I do as a medium, and we had kind of talked. Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about your thoughts on like the paranormal and psychic mediums. Like, have you ever had a reading? Have you ever been exposed to that?
I've always I'll start from this. I've always been to like horror movies. I used to do horror makeup. I used to do all that stuff.
Oh, so like special effects stuff?
Special effects. I mean,
that's amazing.
Slit wrists. I mean, I used to do all that stuff. And I've always was attracted to that realm. Always. My mom could tell you, I mean, I don't even know, from the age of like maybe 3 or 4, she used to rent us, the VCR tapes of like ghost stories and this and that, and, Amityville Horror and everything, so I've always been into that. And as far as and I've never shown that. I've always been the first one to be like, wow, my eyes pop out of my head.
Yeah.
As far as readings, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was doing San Gennaro, they had a bunch of gypsies. This was like 2006, end of 2016. And I wasn't looking forward to going into the tent. I wasn't planning on it. I walked by, and this guy goes, you over there, you over here, over here. There's a whole family of gypsies in the tent.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow. So I walk in the tent, and he's like, we heard you singing on stage, and there was something about you that we wanted you to come into the thing. I said, in my mind, I'm just like, get out of here. You didn't hear me sing. And then they recap the whole thing I did. They're like, no, we were watching you sing, and we were just like, we have to have him come in here. There's something about him we want to read, Sorry. Yeah. So he said it was free. He goes, I don't want you to give me any money. He goes, just do what I tell you, this and that. So I gave him my hand. He did a palm reading. He did, I think he did a tea reading too, the tea leaves. He did, but mostly it was the palms and a tarot card thing. And he said stuff that blew me away. He, like, at the time I was still married. I've been divorced now for a few years, but he said, you're not very happy in the marriage thing and stuff like that. And it seems like your wife is happy for you, but she don't get it because she's a doctor. I'm just like, wait a minute, I didn't tell you she was a doctor. And she's a psychotherapist.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that's crazy. And he's like, look, he goes, you're here for a reason. He goes, and I just need to let you know right now, after this year ends, you need to pack a bag because you're not going to be leaving here. You're meant to be here. Certain people heard you, and it's not just because the way you sound or the way you sing and do your thing. It's you have a nice energy, an energy about you that when you're on stage, you enhance it, and people just gravitate when you walk into a room. It's, oh, who's that? You know. So they said, you're going to be packing up a bag really soon. I said, okay, like how soon? He's like, oh, next couple of weeks. Next couple of weeks, literally next couple of weeks, I got my contract.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like really like everything was. I mean, he told me other stuff too, but not to make a long story. It's just everything he told me was just like, wow. So I've always believed in stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always.
It's interesting because he was at the San Gennaro. That's in Vegas, yeah. So, because we have the one here in New York too, and I don't think people realize, like, as an Italian in Italy, there's a ton of, like, they fully believe in psychics and gypsies like that, and readings and things like that. I mean, I have family still in Italy, and we've talked about this, and they fully believe in it. You know, they have people there, they have readers. So it's not uncommon to see that at like a festival, like an Italian festival of some sort. Yeah. So it's really interesting that they'd be drawn to you. And it's true, like as a reader and as somebody who is intuitive and I read, you know, you are drawn to certain people, and you have that it factor, which is why you're on stage and why you're doing what you do. It's that it factor. So I find it's really interesting that would happen in that scenario. And, you know, so I also made the connection too, which I find to be funny. There's a lot of, people you see on TV, like TV personalities, people who are mediums, they're Italian. A lot of them are from the East Coast, which, you know, coming from Italy, a lot of people were on the East Coast when they came in, our grandparents and things like that. They came over to the East Coast, but you're finding like there's this pocket of Italians in the East Coast that have become, and you'll see them like, and I've even met more, you know, since then who have the same ability, and they're Italian and they're from like the East Coast. And it's the craziest.
My mom, she's just, you know, I'm like, Ma, you're freaking me out type of, you know what I mean? She'll say stuff, she'll do stuff, she'll call me out of the blue. And I'm like, how did you know that? You know what I mean? How'd you know? She's like, shut up. I know. You know what I mean? I know what I'm talking about.
Don't question me. It's a typical Italian mom.
Your mother, shut up. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm like 2 seconds later, I'm like, holy shit, she's right. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're correct. You're
correct. Do you feel like you have any level of intuition yourself?
On a certain level, I don't know what level that is, but there's some things that I'll be doing, you know, something, but it's always musically involved, intuition wise. It's not like, oh, I can read somebody type of thing, but musically, it's like it's a certain rush that I'll get at a certain point, and it'll lead me to a certain area that I should be at, and it's always correct. Yeah. And I find that to be an intuition about something, whether it be me at a show or, you know, me reading another entertainer. I can do that really easy.
Yeah.
You know, which is why me and Drew get along so well, who plays Dean. You know, we're like two kindred spirits, me and we're like two brothers.
Yes.
But I can tell when I have an intuition about something and I can read something well. I can feel it. It's like a rush of energy. It's like, oh my God, you know, which I'm sure you get as well.
Yeah, it's technically people call it like an empathic ability, being able to read energy in whatever way that might mean. It could be what somebody's emotionally feeling, what they need. It's, you know, you'll find that in different career paths as well. If you're a doctor, a nurse, or anything, like you just know what somebody needs, and like you said, which ties into my belief of entertainment, having that, you know, musically, artistically, you just know what to play, you know, what a person might need in that moment. You and Drew, who plays Dean Martin, like having that kindred spirit feeling, you know, I always say, and I have from past lives and things like that, and I don't know if you believe in the past life thing, but I think we maintain patterns from past lives, and it draws us to a career path or a hobby, and then the people in our circle too, you know. So I feel like you and him connecting and having this show is probably from like a past life, having that, you know, that connection, that soul connection, and being able to bring that to life in this lifetime as well.
That's what it feels like when you connect with certain people. You, especially entertainers that you work with,
Yeah.
with a producer, or you'd be your production manager. You know, some things you just born with. You know, I feel like it's not like I grew up and said, I want to be a doctor. No, I want to be this. No, I'll be a musician. I knew it from the minute I was born. I knew it. It felt right. I've never felt any more right doing anything else. You know, and that's always been the sense to me of like, could I have been somebody else in a different life that, you know, had that, you know, it thing. And this is their way of saying this, you're chosen to do this. You know, I don't want anybody else. You have that, which reminds me of if you have time, I'll tell you.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. I love it.
I used to do construction work as you know, WAPs do sometimes.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
The Wapaho tribe is what Frank Sinatra used to say.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
I was doing construction work years ago, in between me playing drums on gigs and doing everything. And this lady, I was doing her house. When I was done, I went to go collect the payment, and she sat me down and she said, "You can't leave my house yet." And this was, oh my God, this is like 20 something years ago, 25 years ago, at least. And can't leave the house. I get to sit down for a minute. She brought me a cup of tea. We're just talking, you know. And I didn't tell her I was a musician. Didn't tell her I was a drummer at the time or a singer. And she said, you know, something weird, like, you know, so what time is your show tonight? I said, and I had a show, but I never told her that, you know. So we talking about? She's like, "Well, I don't want to make you late for your show." I said, "How did you know about my show?" I didn't know she was I didn't know she was a told anything like that.
Yeah.
She's like, "I know." She goes, "When you walked into my house, I knew I could see right through you." She goes, I picked little bits of energy from you. She goes, "And I had to talk to you." I said, "Okay." She goes, "Do you mind if I do a reading for you?" I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." So she had told me, she said, by the time, she told me a bunch of stuff, but she said, by the time you're 44, okay, you'll have almost everything you've ever wanted in your life. And that's it has nothing to do with drumming, she said. She goes, "I know you're a drummer." And that's what freaked me out, because I never told her I was a drummer.
Yeah.
She said, "But it's going to be something that you would never think in a million years that you'd be doing, but you do it now, but it's like kind of like a hidden in your pocket." She goes, "But you need to take it out of your pocket, because there's certain people that are going to need to see that. And when it happens, you're going to be like, you've got to be kidding me." And it was the Sinatra stuff.
Yeah.
When I was 44, actually when I was 40, I was just moving to Vegas. 41, 42, 43, 44, and 44 came, I blew up in Vegas. Like, people, I could walk into a joint and they could be like, "Hey, it's from the Rat Pack. Hey, Mr. Sinatra," you know?
Yeah.
So that's stuff like that blows my mind. And she was right on the money with stuff.
Yeah.
All from energy.
It's true. You just know. And as a reader, you know, and I'm sure she's the type of person who works with it all the time, and she's in tune very deeply. So you just know, you know, you absolutely just know. And it's funny because she said, I think you had said, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that people need that.
Yeah.
It's true. Music and art in general is healing, you know,
Yeah.
and what you do, bringing the past kind of back to life in your own way and still maintaining who you are, you know, it is healing to people. People do need that, which leads me to ask you, because I think it's a cool question, but like, have you ever had like where you know, or somebody came up to you and kind of expressed that to you, like, you know, that it helped them in some way, or that you could just see that it affected them in a very positive way?
Just by singing a song, and this was before the social distancing, because we had it
Right.
so intimate. You know, people like literally like, I'm this distance from you to the laptop.
Yeah.
That's how close we were.
Yeah.
Just by seeing the eyes of everybody and their expressions, and then you see the tears come from their eyes because you touch them. You know right then and there you touch them, whether it be because of a song or because they saw something in me that they saw when they saw somebody in Vegas a long time ago, or Frank or whoever. And you can you read their emotion the minute, and they go, or they tap their partner on the side and they go, "Oh my God," you know?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And you can feel that from them. Or when you shake their hand in the middle of a song and they just get that huge smile on their face, you can feel that rush, and they give that rush right back to you.
Yeah.
which makes me perform even better when I get that rush. And it happens every single time.
Yeah.
And
And that's like, yeah, it's the best reward as because technically you're a healer, and you're in that, what you're doing is healing to some people. And that's the best reward, I think, as an entertainer, as an artist, as a healer, is getting people's reactions and knowing that you impacted them in some way. So you must love what you do.
there's no paycheck in any amount that could equal to the feeling of that, what you get, that respect and that acknowledgement and the adulation from the crowd is a bigger paycheck than I could ever get in my life. And that's the beauty of it. You're making people happy in a big way, I mean, songs like My Way, it's, some people say, My Way, but you have no idea how much that song touches so many people in so many different ways. I've done funerals at 9 o'clock in the morning here in Vegas that I'd sing My Way a cappella, and it's just tears running down because it's always a lyric that means something to somebody, whether it be My Way or as swingy as Under My Skin. It means anything to anybody. And
And now the end is near, so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll make it clear, state my case, for which I am certain. I've lived a life that's full, traveled each and every highway, and much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few.
And I'm so glad I can have a part in someone's life, that I can change it for that 2 minutes of a song or for that 90 minutes of a show. I'm responsible for that as well as everybody else on the stage. But I feel when it's my turn on stage, I'm responsible for making that person and pulling at their heartstrings and making them leave saying, "Oh my God, I was touched." That's the biggest paycheck.
It is. And I love Marilyn Monroe. And one of my favorite things that she ever said was, "I don't want to be rich. I just want to be wonderful."
Yeah.
And to her, the recognition, and it's the same as what you're saying. And it's true in entertainment. When you're really doing what you're passionate about, it's true. There is no paycheck. It's not about the money. It's about that reward that
you have all the fame. You could have all the fame in the world and all the money in the world. It's not going to compare to that, because you could be famous, you could have money, and people can look at you like you're a piece of crap. You know what I mean?
True.
All how you treat everybody. I've always been humble. I've always been the first person that will hold the door for somebody, guy or girl. I've always been the person that will lay a jacket on a puddle for a lady to walk over, or a guy, and I've always been humble. I've never looked at everything that I've gotten in my life and said, "Of course I deserve it." I've never done that. I'm the last person in the world that I'll tap myself on the back. Okay. And I'm always my biggest critic. I never walk on stage saying, "Yeah, of course I did it right. Look who I am." I don't do that. I walk on stage the same way I walked into the building, with my regular clothes on. It's me. But, when the show's on, I'm still the same person. I don't walk out of a show going, "Ring a ding ding, I'm Frank Sinatra."
Right.
There's only Frank, I'm just keeping the music alive. So yeah. I about the happiness I give everybody. And that's what I love so much.
And that's why you succeed and why you are where you are, because of that humbleness. And you're so right. There are so many people, people I know about, even in Vegas and wherever, who not in Vegas, not in Vegas, it doesn't matter, who are making crazy amounts of money, who, but they're so unhappy and they're miserable, and like people just, they're not even impressed anymore, because of that persona. People could read right through you. They know when you're genuine, they know when you're humble, and they know when you're not. And so by you maintaining that, is why you succeed and why you are where you are.
Well, there's a lack today in music. or anywhere, but especially in music entertainment, there's a lack of class, a lack of elegance, and a lack of charm. There's the three things that, to me, if you don't have, especially as a male entertainer, if you don't have those, you're going to crash and burn, because people can see that right away. They love, the elegance, they love the class, and they love that charm. It's old school, and it's a shame because not that many people have it anymore.
It's
Well,
true.
they do it, and they do it in a not in a very good manner. They say hi to your face, and then 2 seconds later, they're the people that, oh, can you sign this? Sorry, I got to go. Bye. You don't do that to somebody. I'll stay there for 3 hours after the show's been done, and I'll be the last one there, shaking hands and signing something for them.
Yeah.
Always been like that. Never will change. I've always been that way.
Yeah. And it's very true. It's very true. People, it's a facade sometimes, and that's why you'll see those things fail or go down, or it'll fizzle out, for those people, because they don't maintain a sense of being humble and doing it for the right reasons. And I say the same thing about what I do. I mean, I'm a dancer, I am an entertainer, but I'm a medium, and so my casino show and everything like that is based on my readings first, entertainment second. But in what I do as a medium, or somebody who has that level of intuition, you'll see if they start running away with it, or they use it for the wrong reasons, or they start to become very egocentric, where it's, they won't sign those things for you, or it's always about the glam and the whatever. They lose. I believe people can lose that. You're bringing this to the stage or to a camera and you're saying, I have this ability, look what I can do. I feel like it gets taken away if you're not using it for the right reasons. If your head starts to get too big and you go in the wrong direction, it's kind of like a test. And they do it with entertainment as well. I really believe the universe does that. It's like, here's a test that you have the money, you have the fame.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? You're going to use it for the right reasons? Are you going to stay humble? Because if not, it gets taken away from you.
It's like having a superpower.
Yeah.
And like, Superman and Batman, if you use that for the wrong reasons, it's going to eat it. It's going to kill you. You know what I mean? You can't use stuff like that. You have a superpower, like entertaining, singing, being a medium, anything, having a show. You can't abuse what your gift is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because you want to be, a schmuck and be like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good tonight. Yeah, bye-bye. No autographs for you. You can't do that stuff. You have to be nice and charming and classy and elegant. You have to do that. Man or woman, doesn't matter. It's true.
It's true. And the whole old school vibe and everything, it is dying out. That's why I love what you're doing. And, the shows that do maintain that. And, I am very old school. I am very, I try to maintain that myself because it's what I grew up with. It's what it really is me. Like if somebody meets me, like this is me right here, so it's, I love maintaining that as well. In what I do, I love watching people such as yourself who maintain that. And you're starting to see, I feel like there's a few people here and there that are starting to emerge with that same kind of vibe and the persona and, and they're doing really well. And I hope that those things can continue to grow. Hopefully entertainment opens back up and we could all get back on a stage. I mean, I know you are, which is amazing.
Well,
I'd love to.
It's slowly, coming, the way it should be. And it's going to take a while, but with everybody starting, to get out there. I don't know how it is in New York, but is it really? Yeah. See, I actually might be in New York for New Year's Eve.
Well, there you go. The city?
Yeah. Long Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We might
That's
be
awesome.
doing a New Year's Eve thing there for like 6 shows. I still have to get the information, but I'll let you know.
You got to let me know. Yeah, you got to let me know.
Yeah, so we'll find out. But there's a lot of good things coming up. I mean, me and Drew, we're working on our own Frank and Dean show.
I love that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you. So if you can, tell everybody who's watching, what do you have coming up? Where can they find information about it? What can people look forward to?
Okay. This is me.
Let me see.
By the way.
Oh, I love that. Look at that. That's so cool.
So Rat Pack is back. Is at the Tuscany Casino. It was downstairs in the Copa room, but it's too small of a room now to have for us because of social distance and stuff. So we're upstairs in the Florentine room, it holds 350, which means half of that we can have 150. Right now that's we're screwed with that because the governor over here just made it back to 25% capacity. So now we can have 50. So needless to say, the past 2 weeks, I guess you can, technically say we've been sold out because we've hit the 50 mark. So we're sold out. So that's Thursday through Saturday, 7:30 p.m. It's a live big band, 7 pieces. Some of the top people in Vegas are in that band, and it really swings. We do everything from, it's Sammy, Dean, Frank. There's a special guest that we have as well. And there's the bar cart, all the old stuff they used to do. So it works. And as far as other places, I was playing some places, but then everything got shut down again. So I was doing like little restaurants here and there, and people could see me do Frank, but now it's just the Tuscany right now. So
yeah, well, that's great. Fingers crossed for sure. For sure. That's amazing. I'm really looking forward to everything. Hopefully I could get to see you, whether it be Long Island or, over in Vegas. I'd love to get over to Vegas. I was just talking about it.
You've been to Vegas before, obviously.
Yeah, many times. Mostly because of my grandmother, and it's funny because my grandmother was the one who always said, like, you should be an actress and you're supposed to be doing this and whatever. And she'd always bring me to Vegas. And, that's where I started watching and seeing what people would do at the casino shows and things like that. I haven't been in a couple years. So, yeah, but hopefully soon. I have some friends who, have done, they're in Cirque du Soleil, things like that, which I know, unfortunately, that's gone bankrupt, which is insane. But, hopefully when things open back up and hopefully stages can open back up, I would love to go that way and see you guys.
There's no snow out here. So
tell me about it. Tell me about it. If you were to look out this window right now, it literally looks like Christmas time over here. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't do well in the cold. I don't know if it's like the Mediterranean blood. I need warm and I need beaches and I need whatever, just not this.
It was about 115 this past summer. It was about 115 degrees almost every day.
Yeah.
And it usually never rains. Honestly, I think the last rainfall we had, it was about 250 days until we had rain again.
Yeah.
So always great. I mean, it's 55 out right now and it feels fine to me.
Right.
So just at home crossing, twiddling my thumbs on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because I have to be, I'm not on stage those 3 days, so I stay in I'm in my studio now. I was going to do some recording today and just, you were the highlight today for me. So this is.
No, I loved having you on. You're amazing. I'm glad that everybody can kind of get to know who you are. And, I'm really looking forward to everything you got going. And like I said, just so excited for you and everything that you have. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay. He's so fun. He was such a great guest. And I know everybody, he's got such a big following. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him live sometime soon. Mm-hmm. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. With all this crazy stuff going on. So I've been checking all the comments. I love that everybody's tuning in. I'm so glad to be back. How's everybody doing, by the way? I like to check in with people because everything's crazy for everybody in different ways. So how's everybody doing? I'm certainly going to call out Mr. Dan Class. I told him he needs to call in when I open up the phone line so he could sing for us. It would be so funny. It would be so funny. I really liked, like I said, that was a perfect example of somebody in entertainment and their connection to what I do as a medium or the spirit world in a sense and, his experiences. I love hearing everybody's experiences, and I think it's really cool. I don't know if any of you have been to a San Gennaro festival or if you're Italian. I know I have a lot of Italians following me. So, but those festivals are amazing. Oh my God, they're so extravagant too. The food is amazing. And so you do see in those festivals, there's like gypsies, there's tents, and it's not uncommon to see at these Italian festivals readers, there. And because that's Italians really do, like I said in the interview, they believe a lot in that. So, oh, and by the way, once I'm done taking your questions and calls, at the end of the show, we're going to play the full clip of My Way, which I love. And that song's very special to me, too, because that was a song that my grandmother had me play for her at her funeral.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and he does such a beautiful rendition of it. So
yes.
we'll close the show How's that sound, Peter?
That sounds great. We got to watch it a little earlier, so we know what they're in store for. I think you'll love it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so like I said before, I always take a look at comments, because I don't necessarily get to answer everybody in one night. So let's just see. Peter, I know you had a couple of questions and stuff like that I can answer for people, and then we will open up the phone lines. The call-in number is 716-226-0693. And I will start to take everybody's questions and comments, which, by the way, is there a way you can put up, Peter, the Facebook comments and stuff, and then maybe we can switch to YouTube after?
Yeah, we were starting to do that recently. That's right.
Yeah.
And that looks so cool. There you go.
There
now
it
you
is.
can see
Okay, now I can see everybody.
All right,
Perfect.
I'll bring it down. All right. So the first question that I have here are, what are some of your experiences with your loved ones who have passed? Is it different than when you read someone else?
Yeah, it is very different, which is strange. I mean, different yes and different no, because, most people think as a medium, I could just channel my own loved ones all the time and we're hanging out, and it's very different than when I give a reading to somebody else. They don't necessarily come around all the time, and actually it is much harder for me to channel them than somebody else's loved ones. So for me personally, let me think of a really cool experience. One of the coolest experiences that I had was my grandmother, who I was referring to with the song My Way, who I was very close with growing up. She passed about 9 years ago. And I remember you get caught up sometimes, just everyday stuff. You're stressed out, you're busy, I have kids, so they drive me crazy sometimes. And I remember I was just having a really stressful time, and I went to sleep. I took this random nap. I never get naps, and I know every mom out there is like, me too. So I took this quick nap, and in the middle of my nap, I saw my grandmother come to me, and she sat with me, and she was talking to me, and it was funny because I remember she handed me a calendar in this dream, and she circled a date, and that was it. Like, it was kind of like I knew we had a conversation. She handed me this calendar, circled a date. And so I woke up and I was super confused. I was like, what is she trying to tell me? So I'm like looking at the calendar and I'm pulling up my phone and I'm looking. Come to find out, that was the day that she died. So, and I forgot, which I'm like, horrible. But but I thought that was pretty cool. So that was like her way of coming to me and being like, hello, don't you recognize what day it is? Okay, Elle, you have a question. Let's see. Have you ever had a celebrity come through that has passed away? If so, how and what was that experience? Yeah, it's happened a couple times. I think one of the coolest experiences maybe that I've had, and I've read a lot of people who are connected that way with a celebrity. One of them being, I think one of my favorite readings was somebody who has a connection that way to a celebrity. I think was there was a connection to Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. And I was reading this person, and this was her granddaughter, and I read her, and I kind of knew the connection, and so I asked for other people rather than the celebrity, because I feel like sometimes it's a touchy situation when you're in my position, anybody who's a reader, and you have to read somebody who is in the spotlight or has a name for themselves where there's some known information about them. So I'm very, the way that I work with stuff like that is I'll always go for things that people would not know, things that are not out there in the open. And so I read the granddaughter of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, and I brought through other people first, and then I touched on what her grandparents had to say. And there was a lot of things that they said that nobody would know. There would be no reason. So I found that interesting. It just makes me work a little harder because I don't want, things that anybody could possibly say, because I work from a very genuine place. So I don't ever want anybody to think like I look things up. Let's see. Okay, I know there was another question. Oh, Karen. Hi, Karen. Any spirits coming to you now? And are there times when you can't focus or get distracted because of spirit? Oh my God, every day I can't focus. And pretty much every day there's a time where I can't focus or I get
two
distracted.
Little spirits at home.
Yeah. I think, it was so funny. So I was just recently out with my mom, and we were having dinner, and there was there's a couple sitting next to me, or it looked like what would be like a mother and a son. And it was a spirit of who I believe to be like the father. And I felt like he recently passed. It took everything inside of me to not, like, I stopped eating. My mom knows, like, people who are close to me, they know when I tune in. I do little weird things with my face and stuff, and they just know that I'm tuned in or I'm picking up on something. And their father was coming through with a husband, and she's like, don't do it, don't pull a Teresa Caputo. Not everybody's open to it. So I had to, kind of contain myself, because it's very true. Not everybody's open to that. So you don't just approach people in public, the way that they do on TV. There's kind of an etiquette to it that you have to follow. So yes, answer is I definitely get distracted for more than one reason. And yes, because of spirit, sometimes I do get distracted. And any spirits coming to you now, what's funny is when I know that I'm doing a podcast, or I'm doing readings, or I have readings lined up, say during the day I have private readings lined up, I will start picking up on spirit even prior to me speaking with somebody. So if I have a reading 2 hours from now, I might start picking up on somebody's loved one who is just anxious to come through. And they'll stick with me until I get to deliver the message, and then off they go. So it's very interesting. Okay, so again, the call-in number is 716-226-0693. If anybody's having trouble getting through, it's probably my fault, so just let me know and I'll check my Bluetooth. Peter, I know that there was other questions written down.
Yes, yeah, here's one. In the spirit of Christmas, you'll understand why. Why do you call it an ability rather than a gift? I've heard people call it a gift.
Yeah, a lot of people do refer to it as a gift, and I think it's such a powerful thing. I think any form of healing is powerful. Right, so fair enough. That could be anything from like what a doctor does to, a teacher giving somebody, a counselor, anybody who has healing energy or works for a living in a healing field. It's a powerful, powerful gift to give somebody, a gift of healing. But I refer to it as an ability because I feel that if I refer to what I have as a gift, then all of a sudden I'm put up onto a pedestal. And I don't believe that anybody with an ability should be on a pedestal above or below anybody else. So I try to keep myself very leveled out. I use my ability for the good and for validating and giving closure and healing to people. And so for myself, I refer to it as an ability for that reason, because I don't personally believe that anybody should be up on a pedestal in that sense. But I do believe that what I give to people, they can receive that as a gift, and that makes me happy. To help. So that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead, and I'm double checking.
Any calls?
I think so. I do. Maybe, but
You want to do more questions? No.
I do, because I think, hold on, I got to double check. You can throw a question at me while I check this to make sure.
All right. How well do you do with questions while you're checking? No.
How does Tessa get distracted? Because she multitasks and
Squirrel.
she's touching things all over the place
Spirit
for no
of a squirrel.
reason. It's the Aries vibe. Aries and Gemini in me. I'm all over the place.
I'm
I
a
gotta touch
Gemini. There
things.
you go. Both of
Yeah,
me.
that's why we get along.
Yes, it is. But it's such a pleasure to do this, I'll tell you. What was your favorite moment as a medium?
My favorite moment as a medium, I think it would have to be, the very first time that I did a gallery show. I'm trying to think what the first one was. Dan Class, if he's still on this feed, he might recognize that. I think it was like my mom and I did a gallery show years ago. Like this must be 6 years ago. And if Dan is still on, like I said, he might be able to validate that for us. But yeah, we did a show, me and my mom, we did a gallery show. And it was like one of the first ones I had ever done, like a while back, 7 years ago, I'm not sure. And I remember getting up on, in front of this audience, and I knew that I could deliver these readings, and I knew that I can do it in that style. But I'll never forget, like, the reaction that I got immediately from one of the people. It's funny because Chris mentioned this in his interview just now about, like, you touch somebody in that way and, like, they're crying. And for a medium, as much as we don't want to make you cry, seeing you cry in a good way is actually It's kind of like letting us know that we've hit something to help you, or that is a positive thing for you. So I think that my very first gallery show was one of my favorites because I just made multiple people cry. I know that might sound terrible, but I think it's because it just kind of made me realize, that I was in the right direction. I was doing the right thing. Yeah. All right. So looks like Peter put up the call-in number. I just double checked. So I think that it's open now. So anybody who just tried calling, because I see there was a couple missed calls, go ahead and try to call back. 716-226-0693. Is there any, did we check YouTube? I wasn't sure if we checked YouTube for any questions.
Let's have a quick look, and there's 4 viewers there right now. YouTube is always the most consistent session. No, Animal Paranormal Live says, hey.
Oh, hey.
So
yeah,
that's
I just did a podcast with Animal Paranormal. It should be on my page. You could check that out. He's a great guy, Joshua. Very supportive of me, as I am to him. And I posted our interview. It was really cool. I also did an interview. I had him on my show before, Tim Shaw. So I just did his the other night, too, and that's really fun. He asks all the good questions. So we did a whole interview about me and my background and things like that.
Well, stop me if you have a call, but I'm sure the listeners agree with me. One of the real joys for us, Ohio Barb, who's off sick tonight, we hope she feels better.
I love Ohio Barb.
For us in the studio, is your interview techniques are superb.
Thank you.
Your interviews are being here and being part of it. And I know we're both disappointed because one of the things we were hoping for until COVID hit was to make this show something people could come in and join the show as a guest.
Yeah.
And we can't do that right now because the building is still closed due to COVID.
Yes, yeah, that was definitely something we talked about for a while. Is literally bringing in like a studio audience and doing a live show. So keep it in mind, because hopefully when things open back up, it'll be an option for us, because I think that would be great. Okay, go ahead, Peter. With I know there was other questions.
Yes. This one's a good one. What can I do when I feel energy or a spirit in my house that I don't want around?
I think if you immediately, people are talking about activity happening, I think more so. And I explained this the other night, I think, on one of the podcasts that I did. But during this pandemic, it really triggers a lot of stress and anxiety in us. And that can affect people one of two ways. One way would be people start working through things, and they might be opening up more, which then allows them to pick up spiritually. And then there are the people that fall, unfortunately, into like a depressed state. And when they're kind of depressed or suppressed in a sense, we become vulnerable. And when we become vulnerable, we might experience those low-level energies that aren't very good, and they feel icky. And, they prey on people who are vulnerable. So those two things are happening all the time, especially now being, people being put into these stressors and, the anxiety that's happening with the pandemic. So I would say if you're experiencing something and it does feel negative or low level that way, I always say work on yourself first, because spirit cannot bother you if you're taking care of yourself and if you create boundaries for yourself. I talk to kids a lot about using like the bubble technique, where you picture yourself in a bubble and nothing can affect you. And it works for adults too. I walk around and truly I have to do that for myself when I'm out in public, because I come into contact with people all the time. Spirit wants to talk, or I'm just picking up on their energy. And, if you're not protecting yourself, that's like the first big thing that you'd have to do. And then, as far as you can verbally tell things to leave. That's always the first thing you could try to do. If you don't want that spirit or that energy around, definitely verbalize that. Tell them to leave. And then if that doesn't work, there's other things that you can do, such as like clearing the house with sage or whatever you're drawn to use. It's all about the intention. So your intention should always be for a clear house with balanced energy. So I hope that helps. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it helps. That's what I do. But I have to do it every day. Like, I'm always actively making sure that I'm okay and taking care of myself. So.
Well, we saw that here in the first few weeks that we began operating, if you remember. And one of our friends came and did a purification ceremony in the room.
Because Tessa comes in and all the spirits parade in after her. And it just becomes like a
Tickets,
technology,
please. Tickets, please.
Technology goes crazy. Everything goes crazy. Gotta love it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I apologize because I do feel like there's been something weird with my phone lately anyways, and just me. It's not you guys, it's me. So I apologize. I do see that
We're breaking up.
It's not you, it's me. We got to break up. But, you know, the calls I do see on here that they're coming in, but for some reason it's not picking up. So I apologize to you guys. Hopefully we'll have that figured out for next week, or maybe it's just my phone.
See if it works
we could
now.
toss my phone out the window. That'll work.
Yeah.
I felt like it lately.
No, but try it again. I just did a reset for you, so...
Okay, yeah, we'll try it one more time. All right, let's take a look at some comments here. Oh, let's see.
Okay.
Olivia. Funny story. My name was supposed to be Olivia. Did you know that, Peter?
No.
Yeah. My name was supposed to be Olivia. That's what my mother was going to call me. It was supposed to be Olivia. And then she saw my name on, like...
Greece?
She lied to me. She said it was like a beautiful picture, and then she told me it was a magazine, so I don't know what she...
Maybe it was from
But then it
Greece.
was Tessa.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Greek, which is so weird.
Of course. And you
But
could
I'm
have been
Italian.
Olivia Neutron Bomb, you know. Hopelessly exploded by you. Anyway, the comment's there for you.
Okay, Olivia, hi. She said, I've recently been having dreams of my father who passed a few years ago. I'm not sure if he has a message for me. I can never remember what the conversations are about. Any thoughts or points on how to communicate with him? That's a great question. It kind of ties into, and I feel like this is more me picking up intuitively with you, because what I was talking about earlier, and I don't know if you caught it, but I had a dream about my grandmother, and I didn't realize, you know, for me personally, because I'm all over the place, but I didn't realize that it was the day of her passing. So it was like the anniversary of her passing, and I had picked up, you know, I had a dream about her, and then I realized there was a connection to the date. So the first thing that I feel like with you is that maybe the date is coming up, or there's like an anniversary or birthday that's attached, either coming up or in close proximity. So definitely take that into consideration, because sometimes when those things approach, or there's something special coming up for somebody, spirit will let you know that they're around. And one of the biggest ways that they will come to us is through dreams. Because our body is at rest. So when you're, you know, as you can tell with me and the way that I act, I'm all over the place and I'm very energetic and things like that. And so if I wasn't trained and I wasn't, you know, I hadn't worked on developing my ability, it would be very hard to pick up on spirit, you know, because we're so busy. But when we're sleeping, our bodies are at rest, our brain waves kind of go down, and spirit operates here. So if our brain waves have lowered, we can feel those things that operate a little bit higher. So your father is coming to you in dreams because it's the easiest way to contact you. How to communicate with him, it's very hard sometimes when we don't, you know, remember our dreams. The one thing that you can ask, you can literally ask your father to come to you, or if you have a question for him, ask him before you fall asleep, since that's one of the ways that he communicates with you. But keep communicating with him throughout the day. It also makes it easier for somebody like myself who has the ability to channel between, when you talk to them often and you ask these questions, they will relay that to me and I could deliver those to you. So that's kind of how I work as the medium. So I know that I just threw a lot at you, but I hope that makes sense. But definitely, maybe you can comment and let me know. Is there something coming up for you? Maybe that's why he's communicating with you. And hi, Patty. Let's see. Happy that you stumbled upon this on Chris's page. I'm happy that you did too. Chris is wonderful. I can't wait to play his video. We're going to hop off pretty soon. Was there another question?
No, that was
Peter?
pretty much it that we had
Gotcha.
written down. Yeah.
Perfect. I wanted to get to everybody's question. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate everybody's support. If you do want to book a private reading with me, you can email me at tessadelzappo@gmail.com. You can follow me here on Facebook and on YouTube. I do say every week, and because of Thanksgiving, I kind of skipped, but for next week, if you subscribe to my page, what I do is I will randomly go through and choose somebody to win a free 15-minute reading with me, and I will announce that next week. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be picking somebody to win a free 15-minute phone reading with me. I will announce that next week. And thank you to everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. Here goes the squirrel brain. Olivia said I've been putting out some Grinch holiday items, and he loved the Grinch, but he passed away in the summer. Okay, so maybe he's coming through because you're doing things kind of in memory of him or something that he would appreciate. So he's just letting you know that he's around. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. And we're going to play the clip, right, of
Yes,
Chris
we are.
doing My Way, which is one of my favorite songs because my grandmother loved that song as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you, Chris, and I will see you guys next week.
I'd like to do a song for you right now. Paul Anka, Don Costa arrangement. And now the end is near, so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll make it clear, state my case, which I am certain. I've lived a life that's full, traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I guess you knew, I bit off more than I could chew, and through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I grew tall, and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all quite amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, it's never in shy way. Oh no, no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not.